Welcome to round 3 of the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship, powered by Grid Finder. The third meeting of the season so far. We have been on the Indy layout at Brands Hatch for the Mazda MX-5 Championship. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Silverstone on the national layout for Formula V. This week, it is the turn of the Renault Clio RS5 representing the VSG Crypto Clio Sports Championship at Snetterton 300. It is Trafford King who leads by 29 points going into this third meeting of the season, after which we will hit the halfway point in the third edition of the Winter Sim Championship for the 750 Motor Club. After tonight, we will head to Alton Park on the international layout for our endurance round. The Mazda MX-5s will be back out for that one on January the 13th. Then we will head to Navarra for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship with the BMW M2 CS racing car. And then our finale on January the 27th on the Grand Prix layout at Silverstone in the Radical SR8, representing the Radical Club Challenge. Each of the 6 rounds inspired by a real-world 750 Motor Club competition. We do have a number of the real-world racers competing here. Of course, the Trafford King, Type R Trophy Champion of this year, Noah Osbaldeston, has been at the first 2 meetings. A Sports 1000 racer of this year, Tortella, a renowned low-cost racer, just to name but a few. All 3 of them are in the top 4 in the championship going into this round. We've already got qualifying underway, and you can see the newer shaped model of the Renault. It is the slightly older versions of the Clio, specifically the 182s, the 197, and the 200 model chassis that we see in the real world Clio Sports Championship. A very tightly controlled, excellent value for money tin top racing. You get second-hand cars available for as little as £6,000. It was Jack Kingsbury who came away with the championship in the real world earlier this year. Clios were racing at Snetterton and will be again in 2026 on the 30th and 31st of August. Just to give you a reference for some of the lap times, the real world lap record for this championship around Snetterton 300 set by Andrew Harding in 2022. That's a 2:15.81. So that is going to be your sort of reference time to look out for. I think the iRacing model is a little bit newer than the cars used in the Real World Championship, so those times could be a bit quicker. And so you see already the difficulties of getting around corners like Coram and then into Murray's, particularly in a front-wheel drive car, where all the weight is on the front end. It does make it difficult for the drivers, but great for us to watch. So already a few minutes into the qualifying session, Daniel Perry at the top as it stands, but I'm sure with plenty of other drivers still to set a benchmark time. A reminder, Trafford King leading by 29 points. It's 30 points for the win, so nearly a full wins advantage. If you weren't with us for the first 2 meetings of the season, this is how it's going to work out. We have this qualifying session that will set the grid for the first of our 3 15-minute races for tonight. Race 2 will be a top 10 reverse grid race based on the result from race 1, and then our final race of the night will be based off of race 2. All with fixed setups from iRacing. You do get 1 fast repair and a total of 18 incident points to carry you through. There will be bonus points for the endurance qualifying, which is the next meeting of the season. 1 drop round for the championship as well. Berry Racing joins us in the chat. Wish I knew this was on sooner or I would have joined. Well, I think you can still join us, Berry, for the final 3 rounds. I think there are still grid places available. So find the information on 750mc.co.uk or get in touch with Grid Finder as well, who are helping us with our Sim Championship, and see if there's any spots available for the last 3 rounds of the season. So we ride on board with Aaron Reeve, the 37-year-old from Kings Lynn, a Club Enduro racer in the real world, also a mini challenge racer, Civic Cup racer, planning on doing some road sports next year, which is the sort of younger sibling to the Club Enduro in the 750 Motor Club. It's a mini endurance, about 45 minutes, way up the curb there, going through the Brundle and Nelson complex. But Aaron Reeve will be used to that, drives a TCR car, or will be driving a TCR car in road sports next year. Of course, it is still next year. We are in the latter stages of 2025 still, of course. Will be still driving his trusty Golf in Club Enduro as well that he's had for some time. 2:06.5, the benchmark from Jake Hewlett, so that is significantly quicker than the lap record from the real world. Yeah, great effort there from Jake Hewlett, the reigning champion, who wasn't with us for the first meeting of the season at Brands Hatch in the MX5s, but did join us last time out for the Formula V Championship. And my goodness me, what an eventful night that was, particularly for Jake Hewlett. Didn't come away with the results that he would have anticipated, bearing in mind he dominated last season, but did manage to set pole position last time out. Noah Osbaldeston taking that honour in the first meeting of the season. So we ride around Palmer. Be familiar with many of the names of these corners ever since the 300 layout came about. We break now down into Agostini, hairpin, great overtaking opportunity. And then a short little straight, so he feeds in the power. Short little straight before we turn into the left of Hamilton. Very fast left-hander, using a bit of the exit curve, and then we break down into Oggies, which leads straight into Williams. Short little straight here, and then into the right-hander at Williams. Another quite quick corner, and that leads you on to the Bentley straight. So the exit here is so important. It's a 2:09.352 so far for Jake Hewlett. We're looking to improve on that. Down the Bentley straight, reaching the fastest point on the racetrack, going underneath the bridge, braking for Brundle. So turning and braking at the same time, losing the back end a little bit because you have to brake into Nelson as well. Again, a big use of the curb there. Another very fast corner, right-handed into the bomb hole. And then one of the trickiest cornering complexes in the country, as we're turning, and then braking around Coram and then into Murray's as well. Keeping it very neat and tidy through those final couple of corners. And then across the start and finish line. So a smooth lap there for Aaron Reeves, save for the big curbage at Nelson. Stays taught fastest though. This is Noah Osbaldeston in the BWT car, heading towards Agostini. Remember, was on pole position the MX5s at Brands Hatch. A multiple podium finisher, 4 podium finishes for Noah. The 17-year-old just finished his first season in car racing, did Noah. In the Sports 1000s Championship. So Noah running the number 24 tonight, as opposed to the 124. So I'll just make a quick update about that in my little sheet so that I don't get confused later on. This is the provisional pole sitter, Jake Hewlett. 2:06.5 is the benchmark. He's nearly a full second quicker than Trafford King, the championship leader, which is quite surprising. Backing out of this lap, though. So Jake Hewlett, familiar name, a previous Type R Trophy champion on his debut back in 2022. But before that, part of the Coanda SimSport team since 2017. Many esports titles, so another successful story of an esports driver who's moved over into real-world competition and offers coaching for both of those. Gave up his job as a fibre engineer to go and do that, as that was Tortulla, the black and white car, the number 10 that just made its way across the line into what was 5th position, I think that was. So that is qualifying done with already. Great looking livery there for Spaldeston, but it looks like it's going to be back-to-back pole positions for Jake Hewlett. Or have we still got 30 seconds left on the clock there for anyone to improve their times. Still half a second the advantage for Jake Hewlett. Traffic King did manage to lower that benchmark, but still only on the front row of the grid. This is Andrew Cooper, the blue and yellow machine. And that is officially the clock rundown now. So it is at pole position for Jake Hewlett, his second of the season, having done so in the Formula V's at Silverstone National. So great effort there from Jake Hewlett. And he'll be starting up at the front of the field for this third meeting of the season. So before we do get into the grid, we'll just remind everyone that some news came out this week that MEV Kit Cars starting a foundation program, so you can own a brand new factory-built Exocet race car with all the entry, registration, and admin fees for a season in the Sport Specials Championship next year for less than £20,000, and that includes coaching and mechanical support there as well. So if you are interested, there's more details on the 750 Motor Club website. Again, go and check that out. Cars assembling on the grid. It is Jake Hewlett who'll be starting on pole position for the second consecutive event for race one, and it'll be the championship leader Traffic King who starts alongside him. Our two Type R trophy racers leading the field. It's yellow up at the front, white and green alongside, and then Rich Holloway in the BWT car alongside him in the third row of the grid. We're underway. Jake Hewlett getting a very good start indeed as they make their way into Ritchie's for the first time of asking. And Jake Hewlett absolutely storming away, completely unchallenged going into the first corner. The Traffic King is coming under pressure though. The championship leader from Rich Holloway, who was on the podium last time out in the Formula V's. We go into the Montreal hairpin for the first time of asking. Luca Monroe getting very, very close to the back of a couple of cars there. A few locking up as they make their way around the hairpin for the first time. The slowest corner on the racetrack. Looks like everybody managed to get through quite neat and tidily out there. I wonder what's happening for second place though, because Traffic King was coming under big pressure from Rich Holloway in that pink BWT car. Noah Osbaldeston running the darker livery there, but it is still the championship leader ahead in second place, starting to gap Jackson Carden a little bit in that red and black car. They make their way out of Agostini for the first time. There's Noah Osbaldeston as well in the, as I say, the darker BWT car. And then Tortola, Rolf Reeve and Rowley, the end of the top 10. We ride on board here with Noah Osbaldeston, who's looking at the back of Alex Stockton. The youngster, the 17-year-old, in 6th position as it stands, coming out of Williams for the first time and down onto the Bentley Straight. Let's see who's got the slipstream, who's got the momentum down the Bentley Straight and into the Brundle and Nelson complex. Of course, completely different kettle of fish to what Osbaldeston will be used to driving. He's used to rear-wheel drive machines, and this is the first front-wheel drive car that we've had all season. Of course, the Formula V is a single-seater. They're rear-wheel drive. The MX-5, that's also rear-wheel drive. And Noah Osbaldeston used to driving the baby sports cars from Sports 1000. And that was an opportunity there, I think, to get on the inside of Alex Stockton for Osbaldeston. It was. And also, Richie Holloway seems to have made some sort of a mistake because Jackson Carden has gone through into 3rd position. So a little mistake at the Brundle and Nelson complex has changed things up. It's Carden 3rd, Holloway 4th, Osbaldeston 5th, and Stockton in 6th position now as they make their way towards the timing line for the first time of asking. There's Carden across the line, the red and black machine, and then it's the two BWT cars that are Milestone. Richie Holloway running that livery because he works for the Alpine F1 team as a 3D printer. Not quite sure what the connection for Noah Osbaldeston is. Maybe he just really likes their water. Oh, now this is closing up for the lead, isn't it? With Traffic King suddenly right with Jake Hewlett, who was very untroubled in the first few corners of the race. But Traffic King seemingly finding a little bit of performance. You can see the rear wheel was cocking in the air there for Jake Hewlett as he went round the Montreal hairpin. I don't think we'll see that again for a few corners from this angle anyway. But, well, it's not over for the lead just yet between the two champions of this series. But very close for third position going into Agostini. Tortola, that black and white car at the back of this queue. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Sean Rolfe. Tortola, the low-cost racer, again, used to that rear-wheel drive machinery. Andy Cooper there getting a little bit crossed up as Luca Monroe went through, and that's opened up the door for the white and red number 9 machine of Arjun Sala, the 18-year-old from Luton, who is normally a mechanic for DH Racing. Very prolific in the Type R Trophy competition. Of course, Traffic King racing for them. Oh, they bang wheels going through Williams, I think that was. And that's going to open up the door for Paul Forsyth potentially to close in. Oh, and he bangs was with Andrew Cooper. They go 3 abreast down the Bentley Straight. So great racing all the way through the field. And Paul Forsyth, is he going to get round the outside of Salon as well? Yes, he is. So great stuff there. Salon trying to come back at him. Oh, Forsyth going very, very wide as a result of that. Yep, around the outside of Brundle is a very difficult move to pull off. And Cooper might try and take them both back. Gets the door very firmly slammed in his face. You see, this is the trouble with making too aggressive a maneuver. You can find yourself coming undone. Leaders go across the line. And they are gapping that battle for third place quite significantly. 3.8 seconds is the difference, but it's very close between Jackson Carden and Richie Holloway. Both have been on the podium multiple times so far this season. Oh, well, I say multiple times. Richie Holloway, just the one podium for him last time out in the Formula Vs, but Jackson Carden, a podium finisher in race 1 in both of the meetings so far this season. So they make their way out of Montreal. You can see Holloway touch right up behind Carden. Osbaldeston trying to close down that gap as well. Alex Stockton in the number 5 car will be right on board here with Richie Holloway as Carden is forced defensive into Agostini. And so late on the brakes there for Holloway. We've got the onboard shot. We've got the overhead as well. And a little puff of smoke there as the rear wheel comes out of contact with the asphalt. A good run here out of Agostini for Richie Holloway, though. He just draws his front panel alongside and forces Carden into a little bit of a mistake there. He's run wide, but again, the circuit goes right, not enough space there. Locking up both the front tyres, though, for Richie Holloway there, and that has allowed Noah Osbaldeston to go through, and Alex Stockton has drawn alongside as well, going into Williams. He nicks that place off him as well. So Richie Holloway, having gone from challenging for the podium, is now down in 6th position as they make their way back down the Bentley Straight, and potentially under threat from Tortola as well. So Holloway will try and regain one of those places, I think, into the Brundle and Nelson complex. Touch right up in the slipstream of Stockton. And looking down the inside, but Stockton is able to hang on to that place. A little bit of experience there for Stockton. Oh, no, they bang wheels coming out of Nelson. Now with the inside line, Holloway for the bomb hole. That is incredibly brave stuff because it's very difficult to fit 2 cars side by side through there. And quite difficult to get 2 cars side by side around here as well. Coram and into Murray's. Stockton very confident on the brakes. Oh, a little bit overconfident on the brakes. He's one wide. And so again, the door opens up for Holloway. All this time, they're losing speed to the cars ahead of them. But this should be a fairly clean pass. Yep, he's able to out-drag Stockton on the way to the timing line. So back into Richie's once again. And it is Holloway, Stockton and Tuller separated by not very much at all going into the first corner. They have lost a bit of time to what is now the podium for the battle between Jackson Carden and Noah Osbaldeston. Holloway doing a great job to hang on to, or to regain that 5th position, I should say. The 32-year-old from Brackley, as I said, working for the Alpine F1 team, but previously working in GT competition, in rallying and rallycross as well. Whereas Stockton, the 31-year-old from York, has been playing racing games since he was a kid. Started out on Project Cars 2 on the Xbox before switching over to the likes of iRacing and Assetto Corsa on the PC. Slightly further down, you've got the likes of Paul Forsyth, the Northern Irishman. Side by side again here. It's Tortola now who's trying to usurp Stockton. So is that another mistake there for Richie Holloway? Because Stockton has gone through and is well clear in 5th position now by about a second. And Tortola was challenging. Now, I wonder if there was some track limits at play there, because Tortola was definitely backing out of that one down the Bentley Straight. So it was very close between these three. There's now quite a few car lengths between them. So Stockton up to 5th position now. Whereas Tortola, the 22-year-old from Derby, has been racing alongside his father in this championship for the first 2 meetings of the season. The rookie champion of the low-cost series back in 2022. Also a Formula V podium finisher. Arjun Salmon getting his elbows out again, looking at the back of Paul Forsyth in that battle for 14th position. So still Jackson Carden is soaking up an awful lot of pressure from Noah Osbaldeston for 3rd position. They are now 7 seconds behind the leaders, though, who are in a class of their own at the moment. It's great stuff out there. Jackson Carden, there he is. He's been on the podium in race 1 of the first 2 meetings of the season. Jackson Carden, the 16-year-old from Warrington, who made his Type R Trophy debut. So it's actually Type R Trophy drivers all inside the top 3 at the moment. Driver of the day at this track at Snetterton, in fact, as he made his debut. In fact, I think I was commentating on that one. Started in autograss at age 10, did Jackson. Finished 3rd in the championship, in the Sim Series Championship last year, and planning a full season assault on the Type R Trophy next year. And, well, so far he's in pretty good company, because the only 2 people ahead of him are champions of that series and this series as well. So clearly he's in the right place at the moment, is Jackson Carden. Jack Rowley there as well, the number 15 car, 25-year-old from Manchester. It's Daniel Perry, a endurance racer in the 750 Motor Club. Number 28 car, competing from Jersey in the USA, but originally from Devon. Former 116 trophy racer, and will be out in a GT4 Ginetta in Britcar next year. Well, Daniel Perry, as Paul Forsyth in front of him, runs very, very wide. So that could be a change for 14th ahead of him. Oh, this is Richie Holloway and Alex Stockton again going side by side here. So Holloway has closed down that 1 second gap it was to 5th position. Again, locking up and going straight on. So he tries to take 1 position and ends up losing 1, because Tortola was straight through there. And that's the 2nd time we've seen Tortola make a mistake like that on the brakes. Good heads-up driving there from Alex Stockton, I will say, because he was able to come straight underneath the car that was sliding past him going into the Montreal hairpin, which is always a guaranteed action spot. Just over 3 minutes left on the clock. Now, remember that race 2 is a top 10 reverse grid race based off of the result of this race. So as it stands, it would be Ross Loram in 10th position, the number 16 car, the Mazda 7 racer, who'll be starting on pole position for that one. Still time for that to change, though. He's only a second ahead of Luca Monroe, and only half a second ahead of Sean Rolfe as well. As Daniel Perry looks to make up more places. Oh, this is for the lead. Trafford King going for the lead now, with Jake Hewlett making a bit of a mistake into the Brundle and Nelson complex, and the championship leader is through. So Trafford King takes the lead, but Jake Hewlett's not going to take that line down. Back into the bomb hole. They're side by side. Brilliant stuff between these 2 champions of the Sim Series and of the Type R Trophy Championship as well, side by side around Coram, and it's Trafford King with the inside line into Murray's. But surely we will be coming up onto the penultimate lap of the race now. But it's only going to be by a few seconds, I think. Yes, I think we should squeeze 2 more laps out of this. Depends on how much wheel banging they do. So Jake Hewlett in the slipstream down the start-finish straight, but decides not to do anything into Ritchie's. Traffic King holds the advantage by half a car length, but Hewlett with a great run out of there and looks to the inside at the Montreal hairpin. Decides better of that though. So Jake Hewlett, he has been in command of this race right up until that little moment at the Brundle and Nelson complex, and suddenly that has completely changed the dynamic of this race. Around Palmer, and Hewlett still following in the wheel tracks by a couple of car lengths now. Has he got the composure? Has he got the speed? Does he know where he needs to attack Trafford King? He'll know where Trafford is fairly strong because he's been dealing with him in his mirrors for the entire race. Remember, Hewlett was on pole position by half a second as well. It was a dominant performance by him, and it had been right up until this point in the race. And now he's got a very different challenge on his hands. So into Oggies. Remember, the exit out of the next right-hander at Williams will be so important. That's the long run down to the Bentley straight and back into the Brundle and Nelson complex, where Hewlett seemingly made the mistake last time around. Look at the slipstream there for Jake Hewlett. He's soaking it up, closing in on his on-track rival in the real world and in the sim world. We need to be seeing what's happening up at the lead of the race, though, because they were going into the Brundle and Nelson complex and nothing doing on that occasion. There was a loss of curb there at Nelson for Trafford King. That very nearly opened up the door for Jake Hewlett. 25 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be very tight if we get another lap into this. I think we will. They crossed the line with about 2:09 to go, and the laps have been about 2:06, 2:05. So is that why Hewlett hasn't made a move just yet? 10 seconds left on the clock. And we should squeeze one more lap out of this one. It's going to be very tight to see whether the checkered flag is going to come out. Yes, we do, by about 2 seconds. We are going to get one more lap of racing here. So that was timed pretty well. If that's what Hewlett was thinking about, that's been timed to perfection. Oh, look at his eagerness. He's all over the curb and taking a little bit of grass through Ritchie's as well. We ride on board as well on the right-hand side into the Montreal hairpin. Puff of smoke as one of them locks up a brake or cocks the wheel through the right-hander. You often get the rear wheel in the air there in these front-wheel drive cars. This is a great advert for Clio Sport Racing. Remember, you can get second-hand cars in the real world for less than £6,000 with minimal modifications to compete in the real world championship here. We are representing the VSG Crypto Clio Sports Championship here tonight at Snetterton. They'll be racing here in August next year, and this has really whet our appetite already, as we've got a thrilling lead battle here between these two drivers we're used to seeing in Type R Trophy. And it's no surprise here, a very similar style of machine, front wheel drive tin top, almost feels like classic touring car racing. And it's these two champions of that series that have pulled out to the front and have cleared off 9 seconds clear of the rest of the field nearly now. This has been a performance of excellence. And, well, Jake Hewlett is running out of opportunities now to try and take the lead of the race. They disappear behind the bridge that takes you towards the car park, and Hewlett was right over to the right-hand side of the racetrack, very nearly on the grass there as well, braking for Brundle and Nelson. And this time, it's Hewlett who kicks up two wheels going over the curbing at Nelson. Surely he can't have a dive bomb into Murray's. Surely that cannot be the case. He's dropped behind by a couple of car lengths now. And I think so long as Trafford King gets through here neat and tidy, he should be on course for a 5th victory of the season. He's won 4 of the 6 so far. And halfway through this race, you didn't think he was going to be making it a 5th. But he took full opportunity of this one. He flashes the lights, weaves his way across the line, and it is victory in race 1 of the Clios at Snetterton for the championship leader, Trafford King, despite the efforts of Jake Hewlett there. Jackson Carden holds on to the podium as well, ahead of Noah Osbaldeston, and so he makes it a 3rd podium appearance of the season. Astonishingly, for Jake Hewlett, only his 2nd podium of the season. But of course wasn't with us for the first meeting of the season. Goodness me, what a start to proceedings here at Snetterton. Great stuff once again. But of course, Trafford King will now have to go from 10th position for race 2 in the top 10 reverse grid race. Absolutely incredible stuff. As see many people in the chat enjoying that one as well. But don't forget, we've still got 2 more races to come, 2 more 15-minute races. The reverse grid race, and then 1 more after that as well. So incredible stuff. And Traffic King, another race 1 victory, as it was at Brands Hatch and it was at Silverstone as well on the national layout. Jackson Carden was on the podium in both of those races as well, in 2nd position, finishing 3rd here in this one. But despite the best efforts of Jake Hewlett, Traffic King extends his championship lead, so he now has more than a win's worth of points over the rest of the field. Didn't actually see James King on the entry list for tonight, who's 2nd in the championship, so that is worse news for everyone else, because we've got the drop score to apply as well. So we will get a clearer idea of that when we head to the final meeting of the season, which will be the Radicals at Silverstone on the Grand Prix layout. Setting up for race 2 now. So it is Ross Loram who lines up on pole position for this one. The 41-year-old from Devon, the Mazda 7's racer, in his first season of 750 Motor Club competition after a 10-year break from short oval hot rod racing. Back in the Mazda 7's championship next year is Ross Loram. Sean Rolfe alongside him in the white and black car. Aaron Reeve and Richie Holloway, who gets a better start there, and so did Tortola as well. So they're charging through the pack already. It is Ross Loram, though, who holds the advantage going into Richie's, but Rolfe around the outside of the first corner tries to take the lead away, does not manage to do so. Holloway up to 3rd position already in that pink PWT car. He may well make it 2nd as well, going into the Montreal hairpin. He does indeed. Laura correctly writing me in the chat. Stanley, not Sean. Excuse me, I did that last time as well. I will try not to do it again. So that side-by-side there has given Loram a little bit of a reprieve. Holloway going very wide as he was having to go defensive into Palmer, trying to cover off the inside from Rolfe there. And around the outside is going to come Noah Osbaldez. Oh no, contact, and Richie Holloway gets into the side of Alex Stockton, that was actually, and there's more bumping and shuffling on the exit of Agostini, but that is a key contender there. Richie Holloway with damage to the front of his car, and Alex Stockton as well. There's Traffic King making his way through the pack. He's up to 7th position. Remember, started in 10th, but Jake Hewlett, oh, that's one off, and that is Stanley Rolfe from 2nd position. So he's gone up. Oh no, more dramas coming out of Williams and Oggies, and Richie Holloway again in the wars there, this time getting spun round. So it's not been a good first lap for Richie Holloway at all, but for the likes of Jake Hewlett, who's already up into 3rd position though from 9th on the grid. He's behind Tortola, and then Traffic King moving up into 4th position now ahead of Aaron Reeve. So the front runners already finding their way towards the front of the field. Great news for Ross Loram as he's consolidating a little bit of a lead. Stockton wide again there, this time on the exit of Nelson. But for the most part, the rest of the field making their way pretty safely through the first lap, save for a few moments for Richie Holloway and Alex Stockton. This is going to be brave into Coram, but there are the leaders coming across the line. Ross Loram with 0.8 of a second of an advantage as they go across the timing line to start lap 2. Jake Hewlett up to 2nd from 9th on the grid. Tortola up to 3rd. Traffic King from 10th to 4th. Now Aaron Reeve in 5th. Noah Osbaldeston 6th. James Ellis in 7th. Jackson Carden 8th. James Rowley in 9th. And Arjun Salan in 10th position. Now remember, the result of this race will set the grid for race 3. No reverse grid involved in that one. And Ross Loram already coming under pressure from Jake Hewlett. Ross Loram is first year of circuit racing completed this year. Will be back in the Mazda 7's Championship, which is the bigger brother, the more powerful version of the low cost. And already Jake Hewlett challenging for the lead now with a great run out of Palmer. He'll have the inside line into Agostini. And Lorum tries to brave it out around the outside. It's Hewlett in the yellow car, Lorum on the blue car, but Lorum loses out. And Traffic King also side by side with Tortella there, going around the outside of Agostini. And I think around the outside of Hamilton, managing to make that move stick. He did. So great stuff. Well, he's seen his rival from race one, Jake Hewlett, already get into the lead. He needs to dispatch of Ross Lorum as quick as possible. We're right on board with the pole sitter, now demoted down to second position. And surely that yellow car in front of him is just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, just based off of the pace of race one. And I think any moment now we're going to see the luminous green, teal and white DH Racing colors around the outside. Oh no, he made contact. Traffic King made contact there with Ross Lorum, and he skates across the track. How about that for an image? Somehow is still relatively pointing in the right direction. Astonishing stave there from Traffic King. I think yielding a couple of those spots and accepting initial responsibility there. Great news for Jake Hewlett. He's 3 seconds clear, but what's happening for second place? Because Tortella is now up into second. And that's Jackson Carter with a big dive on the inside there, trying to take fourth position away. Ross Lorum has fallen down to about sixth now as a result of that, I think. And so Traffic King maybe tried to yield a couple of those spots, but wasn't really able to do so. And so he's gone back through on Tortella there. Looked like a relatively easy move. King back up into second place, but now 3.6 seconds behind the race leader, Jake Hewlett, all because of that contact. He went round the outside of Brundle, and now we're going to go three abreast into the Montreal hairpin there with Lorum and Osbaldeston and Reeve there as well. Reeve is about to get pitched round there by, I think that was James Rowley, in the number, Jack Rowley, sorry, in the number 15 car. Goodness me, it's all suddenly come out punching, and Osbaldeston around the outside of Palmer. Great stuff there for fifth position, and he does manage to chop the nose of Ross Lorum there. So by the time they get into Agostini, he can take up his normal racing line. Great stuff from Osbaldeston there. Look at the advantage of Hewlett. It's already through the picture. Then it's King, Tuller, Carden, Osbaldeston, Lorum, and Rowley, all in pretty close proximity. Don't count out James Ellis there as well, because he's in a good spot there in the number 6 car, the 17-year-old from Macclesfield, and is side by side now with Jack Rowley, trying to get on the inside there. Does manage to do so through Williams. It's in the darker of the two cars. Rowley in that purple hot rod car, or is it a Hot Wheels car? I think the livery on that one. They run side by side again, this time into Brundle and Nelson. And that didn't work out for Traffic King and Ross Lorum earlier. It just about worked out for Ellis and Rowley that time around, but it did allow Daniel Perry to come in and split them and move up into 8th position as well. So the brick car racer for next year, not even halfway through yet. It's all the thrills we were expecting. Great battling all the way through the field. So there goes King across the line. Tortella, Jackson Carden, and Noah Osbaldeston separated by not very much at all in the battle for the final spot on the podium. Tortella, who'll be back in the low-cost championship for next year. Finished 7th in the championship with a podium finish this season. He'll go again in 2026. Further down, Ross Lorum now a bit of a cork in the bottle in 6th position. With James Ellis going down on the inside for that spot. The former Ginetta Junior racer is James Ellis in 2024. Trying to get back into Ginetta machinery for next year. On the inside at Agostini. Trying to take that place away. It's the battle for 6th position. Oh, Lorum shut the door there and did make contact with the front right corner. That pushes him off the road. Daniel Perry goes around the outside. Can Rowley follow him through as well? No, he can't. And so Lorum with the aggressive defense there ends up losing him the place to Ellis and to Perry as well. All of these guys have experience of racing in the real world. Loram, as we said, a Mazda 7s racer. Daniel Perry racing in Club Enduro and Road Sports with the 750 Motor Club. James Ellis in the Ginetta Junior Championship. Great tin top action. Oh dear! I was bigging up Rowley a little bit too much there because Rowley's off the road. Now, they're the least experienced, actually. Only done a couple of track days as Jack Rowley, the 25-year-old from Chester. Change for fourth position, it would seem, here, with Noah Osbaldeston now up ahead of Jackson Carden, Sports 1000 racer. Now looking at the back of a podium finish. Meanwhile, Jake Hewlett, 4.7 to the good now on Trafford King, who in turn is 1.6 ahead of the battle for the last spot on the podium. But Carden not taking it lying down. If anything, he's the closest of the three. Back into Ritchie's and Daniel Perry looking at the back of Ross Loram for 7th place now. As actually Loram's retaken that spot. Perry's trying to take it back again into Montreal. Looks down the inside, little puff of smoke from the tyres, but that's another change for 7th place. With Daniel Perry in that red and green machine going back through. But Ross Loram started on reverse grid pole position for this one. It's also allowing James Ellis to scamper off down the road. He's 1.3 clear of this battle now. Alex Stockton on the recovery a little bit in 9th position, just behind them, and Arjun Salan, the DH Racing mechanic, completing your top 10 with Luca Monroe for close company. Richie Holloway on the recovery as well, up to 12th now after 2 incidents on the opening lap. Oh, Stockton getting his nose cut across there by Ross Loram. Just saw that on the right of screen. On board with Osbaldeston now, down the Bentley Straight, heading towards the Brundle and Nelson complex. Looking at the back of Tortola, the black and white machine. Very fast, and look at that counter steering, almost like a go-kart. The steering wheel was practically straight, and yet it was turning left. Love watching these onboards, and you get a sense of the style. There's so many high-speed corners here at Snetterton 300 now. In amongst a series of slow and technical corners, and no more is that more present than here at this complex of Coram and into Murray's. So much weight on the front end, and it looked like Tortola was just a little bit wide of the apex, maybe half a car's width wide of the apex, and that has put Osbaldeston right onto the back of Tortola. Down the start finish straight we go towards Ritchie's. Tortola just ahead, but only by half a car length over Osbaldeston. Osbaldeston, who, as we said earlier, at the end of his first year of car racing, dives to the inside, putting all the weight on the front wheels there, and Toller runs out very wide indeed, almost in sympathy. That's opened up the door for Jackson Carden. So it's Osbaldeston through into third. Can Jackson Carden take advantage of that little mistake there from Tortola? He tries to go around the outside of Palmer and cuts back inside again very nicely indeed. Now if he can stay there, that will give him the inside line when they get into Agostini. Great driving there from Jackson Carden, and that does indeed give him the place, I think, going into Agostini. So Tortola started the lap in 3rd position. Looks like he's now down to 5th. Yep, confirmation on the screen now. Great stuff. Great battling once again. Really great thinking ahead there from Jackson Carden. Didn't try and go around the outside of Palmer, which still would have left him on the wrong side when they get to Agostini. Cuts underneath him, gets the drive down the straight and the inside line for the following hairpin as well. Probably one of the best overtaking opportunities on the racetrack. Now, Tortola's not going to take that line down, though, because he'll have a slipstream down the Bentley Straight here. And we know what Jackson Carden is thinking already, because he's moved defensive to the inside. And does manage to hold on to that place. Wisdom beyond his years, way up the curb. Once again there for Jackson Carden. Gives a little bit of a run to Tortola, who again crosses back to the inside, and so that'll give him the line into Coram, but not enough momentum to draw alongside, actually. So Carden will be back in the Type R Trophy Championship next season. A multiple podium finisher in last season's Sim Series. on his way to third in the championship. And look how much Osbaldeston was, in fourth position a lap ago. He's now 2.5 seconds clear of these guys because they've been battling so much. We are now moving on to the final lap of the race now. Jake Hewlett leading by 6.3 seconds to Trafford King and Noah Osbaldeston. The question is, who's going to be finishing fourth? Will it be Jackson Con or will it be Tortola? Looks like the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment. Con would have been hoping that this was for a podium position, but nonetheless, it is just for fourth position. And Tortola starting to fall away a little bit by a few car lengths. Not in a position to attack going into Agostini, but I'm sure we'll try and pressure young Jackson into a mistake on this final lap now. Now remember that the result of this race will set the grid for the next one. So it'll be Jake Hewlett on pole position, then Trafford King, Noah Osbaldeston, Carter and Tuller, your top five. They're 2.5 seconds clear of young James Ellis, the former Ginetta Junior racer. Daniel Perry, Alex Stockton, Ross Lorham and Luca Munro inside your top 10 as well. Richie Holloway may still will come away with a top 10 finish here. He's a second behind Luca Munro. We'll keep an eye out for that once the leaders come across the line, because they are now heading into the final sector of the lap. Tortola surely not in a position to take fourth position away from Jackson Carden. Does close up a little bit through the Brundle and Nelson complex, but still finds himself a couple of car lengths behind. Be expecting Jake Hewlett across the line any second now, I'd have thought. So here comes Jake Hewlett, already flashing the lights. The reigning champion back on the top step of the podium. It's victory in race 2 at Snetterton for Jake Hewlett. A full 6.5 seconds clear of Trafford King in the end, after that moment with Ross Lorham on the second lap of the race. But King does come across the line in second place, with Noah Osbaldeston taking his 5th podium finish of the season as well. Great action once again, as Jackson Khan did beat Tortola to 4th position there. And hopefully during this break, it'll give us an opportunity to chat to our 2 race winners so far tonight. And while we wait for those guys to join us in the chat, let me remind everyone that the calendars for 2026 are available. The registration and race entry will be open next month as well. Registration for 2026 opens on Tuesday, the 27th of January. So the day of our finale, as soon as everyone here is done racing, they're going to be getting in those applications for 2026. Meanwhile, let's chat to Jake Hewlett, who's just come away from a dominant race 2 win. How was that?
Good evening, Chris. How are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely great. How wonderful to hear your voice again.
It's nice to hear and see you too. Yeah, it was okay. I feel a bit rusty. Not been out since the last time we were out in the Formula V's, I think it was, where we were 5 wide into Brooklands, I think, at one point. But yeah, no, feeling good. Really pleased with that one. Obviously, got through. I see traffic got a bit caught, but he had some mega pace in race 1, so bodes well for this next one.
You seem to be the pace setter here. We got used to saying that last year. Pole position by half a second, and then really in command of race 1, right up until a couple of laps to go. Can you explain what happened there?
Yeah, just I obviously I help without going too much into detail. I help a lot of people on sim and in the real world, and just been busy helping people on a completely different sim that requires a completely different technique, and just I just locked the fronts coming into Nelson there, and yeah, just pushed on, tried to keep on the track. I think I probably could have sort of sent one up the inside of traffic a couple of times, but I think we've got a lot of respect for one another, so I just decided to bide my time and go for P2 there, and tried forcing him into a mistake, but he kept it super clean to the end.
It was absolutely fantastic to watch. So anyway, good luck for race 3. We're going to have a chat with Trafford now as well. But yeah, good luck for the next one.
Tell him not to beat me in the next one, please. Thank you. Enjoy, gents. Take care.
We can't make any promises. Jake Hewlett, the defending champion of the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship, dominant last season, one would say, actually, as we wait to hear from Trafford King, our race 1 winner. And here is Trafford now. Trafford, welcome back. Once again, back in the commentary box. You're going to be pretty comfortable here.
Good evening. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're great. I mean, we thoroughly enjoyed your battle with Jake in race 1. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was a good laugh, wasn't it? No, it was good, that. Obviously, Jake, as usual, has ridiculous one-lap pace. So I thought I've just got to get him behind him and see what happens, and then that one mistake, that's all he needed.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to be kind of in control of that one, but yeah, you really punished him for that one mistake. But then equally, he seemed to punish you a little bit for that contact you had at the start of race 2 as well.
Yeah, I was just following through pack, and as soon as I had that contact, he was gone then, and then I just had to keep what was left at tyres, so no one else could catch up, really.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, this is the first front-wheel drive car we've had this season as well, and was in race 1, it was yourself, Jake, and Jackson, who of course raced Type R trophy as well this year. So it's all the Type R lot who were up at the front of the field. I guess they're a similar driving style.
Just all civic warriors. We're all just mental. That's all it is. It's not to do with driving style.
Fair enough. I will say I do remember the Type R racing from Snetterton this year, because I was commentating on that one, and it was pretty mental. So yeah, no, fair enough. Well, yeah, it's battle resumed between you and Jake for race 3. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, well, we've got Noah and Jackson in mix, haven't we, for this one? So we'll see if we can get through first lap first, and then crack on from there, I think.
Fair enough. Good luck.
Cheers.
Trafford King, the inaugural champion of the 750 Motor Club Winter Sim Championship, and the reigning Type R Trophy champion as well. So we are getting ready for the third and final race of the night. Still to come this season. This, of course, the final 750 Motor Club broadcast of 2025. Thank you very much for joining us throughout the entire year, whether it's been for the sim racing or for the real world competition. We've thoroughly enjoyed your company. The start of next year, don't forget, January the 13th. We're going on a couple of week break, but January the 13th, back with more MX5 action at Alton Park for the 45-minute endurance race. Then Navarra for the BMW M2s, and then the season finale on the 27th of January at Silverstone on the Grand Prix layout and the Radical SR8. Those will be back with the usual 15-minute sprint races, very much replicating the real-world championships there as well. If you're watching this and thinking, I want a piece of that action, then there are still spots on the grid for the Winter Sim Championship, but also in the real world as well. The 750 Motor Club is probably the most affordable, best bang for your buck racing in the UK. So if you go to 750mc.co.uk, the first thing you'll see on their website is a button that says Start Racing. So there's all the information on there to get your Go Racing pack from Motorsport UK for just £115. You can get your ARDs for as little as £250. All the information you need, where to get started, where you can take your ARDs, where to get the right kit, that's all going to be on the website for you. Once you do have your racing license, we've got more than 20 formula for you to choose from, and that is a mixture of single-seaters, of hot hatches, saloon cars, coupes, GT style cars, baby prototypes, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, sprint racing, endurance racing, the best value for money racing in the UK, and the most competitive grids, the best grid sizes as well. So if this has inspired you to go racing in 2026, make sure you do it with the 750 Motor Club. And as I say, those registrations and entry fees, that all opens up on the 27th of January, and then individual race entries open up on the 10th of February. So all that information is on the newly revamped 750mc.co.uk website. I'm told there's more improvements to come in 2026 to the website there as well. And also, if you still haven't got your ticket for the 750 Motor Club Awards Night on the 7th of February at the Leonardo Hotel at Hinkley Island, then make sure you go and do it as well, because last year we had a record turnout and we've got even more awards to give out this year, because Road Sports became a championship for the first time this year, and we introduced the Swiss Sport Challenge. We've got 2 extra championships to try and fit in with you guys. We will also be celebrating the Winter Sim Champion as well, because their prize will include 2 free tickets to that event. So do make sure you get involved in that one. And reminder, yeah, some breaking news from this week about the Mev Kit Car Foundation own a brand new factory-built Exocet race car for £20,000. That includes your registration, your entry fees, admin fees, coaching and mechanical support as well. Let's turn our attention to the grid then. The final race of the night. 15 more minutes of racing to come. It's Jake Hewlett in the yellow number 92 car that starts on pole position ahead of Trafford King. Both race winners so far tonight. Noah Osbaldeston, Jackson Carden and Tortalla starting inside the top 5 with James Ellis, Alex Stockton, Daniel Perry, Ross Lorem and Luca Monroe inside the top 10. This should be a pretty brutal fight, I would have thought. We have seen great toe-to-toe racing between Hewlett and King so far tonight. What will happen when we throw Osbaldeston, Carden and Tuller into the mix as well? It's the yellow car of Hewlett on the left-hand side as we look at it. The white and green machine of Trafford King on the right-hand side. We're underway for the final time tonight. And it was a good start from Jake Hewlett there. He leads Trafford King. Now Osbaldeston is the aggressor going into Ritchie's for the first time. The closest challenger carries a lot of entry speed, tucked right up behind the rear wheels of the championship leader as Jake Hewlett leads out of Ritchie's and forces at Trafford King. Defensive does Noah Osbaldeston going into the Montreal hairpin for the first time. He draws alongside half a car length, but gets squeezed out there by the Type R Trophy champion. So does that open up the door for Jackson Carden on Noah Osbaldeston there? No, Osbaldeston just able to settle into third position, but the 2 youngsters look set to go toe-to-toe here out of Palmer, running nose to tail on this short straight towards the Agostini hairpin for the first time of asking. Keeping it very neat and tidy is Tortalla there in 5th position. Then Stockton is ahead of James Ellis. So there's been a swap there for 6th and 7th on this opening lap. Osbaldeston in that dark BWT car. Again, not sure what the link is to BWT there. Maybe he just likes their liveries. And then Jackson Carden, the red and black machine just behind him. Tortalla in black and white. And then Alex Stockton hoping for some sort of a result after quite a bit of bad luck in the first 2 races so far. He's in that black and yellow machine that is chasing Tortalla down the Bentley straight. Great grid of cars that you can see on the whole straight there. We look overhead as they go into the Brundle and Nelson complex for the first time of asking in this race, all keeping it very neat and tidy. This has been the most well-behaved start so far. That's Richie Holloway just getting a little bit wide there on the exit of Nelson, though, taking a little bit of the grass in 9th position there. But it's tin top racing. If you weren't on the grass at some point in the race, were you really doing it properly? We're on board here with young James Ellis, the former Ginetta Junior racer, trying to get back on the grid for next year after a year's absence from the racetrack. In 7th position, having just lost the place to Alex Stockton on the first lap. Back into Ritchie's we go. And look at Stockton, got a great run through Ritchie's there, looking on the inside. Doesn't quite manage to get that move into Montreal done though, but very, very tight against the low-cost racers car. Slightly further back, still good battling going on throughout the whole field. I think that's Arjun Salon who is leading that second group of cars. It is over Stanley Rolfe. Aaron Reeve and Paul Forsyth, meanwhile, side by side through Palmer for 13th position. And it's Forsyth who just manages to come out ahead using all of that experience of his sevens racing and hill climb action. Back with James Ellis in 7th position as Stockton continues to mount the pressure on Tortalla and getting right up behind the low-cost racers car going through Williams. Now, this is the important part of the racetrack. The slipstreaming opportunity down the Bentley Straight and into the Brundle and Nelson complex. A quick corner that very quickly turns into a tight right-hander. Again, everyone keeping it neat and tidy through there. No one launching it over the curbs this time. That train of cars. Toller, Stockton, Ellis, Perry and Holloway. Oh, I spoke too soon about Paul Forsyth. He's backwards into the barriers. Did make contact with the Armco there, and there was some of the bodywork that seemed to go flying there. So he's down in 18th position now. Shame for him. But the leaders, meanwhile, make their way around Murray's. And Tortalla running just ever so slightly wide on the exit of the final corner, and that has given Alex Stockton a great run down the start and finish straight. Alex Stockton, the 31-year-old from York, primarily experienced in the sim world. He's now side by side with Tortalla, and on the inside at Ritchie's, takes it to the low-cost racer. So that's 5th position now for Alex Stockton. I think one of the few drivers in this field who's solely got sim experience, as Richie Holloway also makes a move on the inside of Dan Perry. That doesn't come off. Oh, Tortalla gets James Ellis into the side of his door at the Montreal hairpin as well. So suddenly, after a very calm and well-behaved start to this race, it's getting a bit argy-bargy out there now. So Tortalla now down to 7th position with young James Ellis fighting his way through into 6th. And Holloway now up into 8th position ahead of Daniel Perry. Holloway, I think, another driver in this field who's largely on sim experience. Didn't mention any real world competition to us. Looking at the front of Tortolla's car from James Ellis. Do love seeing the concertina effect in there as they close up through the corners. Spread out a little bit as they make their way down the Bentley Straight, but close up again as the slipstream takes hold, and then under braking for the subsequent left-hander. Only 4 minutes left on the clock here already. So Tuller looked on the inside there of James Ellis, trying to take one of those places back. It was a fairly aggressive move from James, as wide in the background goes Luca Monroe, the 56 car in 10th position. Way off the circuit. Still only 1 second between Jake Hewlett and Traffic King at the head of the field. It's got all the shades of race 1, I must say. Was that mistake from Hewlett that allowed King to go through? So, of course, that's not completely out of the question just yet. Martin Sallant has lost a couple of places now. He's got Andrew Cooper in front of him. It's Stanley Rolfe that leads this second train of cars in 11th position. Then Aaron Reeve, Cooper, Sallan and Rowley. Oh, look at Richie Holloway all over the curbing at Ritchie. He's trying to take 7th position away from Tortalla. Daniel Perry trying to put his nose into the ring as well. Follows the BWT car down the inside into Montreal. And so once again, it could be Tortalla getting a little bit bullied out at that hairpin. So that is Holloway now up into 7th position. Daniel Perry up to 8th. Tortalla now down to 9th, having started 5th for this race. And Holloway's not done yet. He's got a run on James Ellis as well to the outside of Agostini. The former Ginetta racer versus the 3D printer for the Alpine F1 team. And Daniel Perry very nearly got his car alongside into Agostini as well for 7th position, but that didn't quite pan out for the future Brit car racer. This is Jake Hewlett, meanwhile, on his penultimate lap of the race, I think. Judging by how much time we have left on the clock. 1.1 clear of Traffic King. who in turn is 1.8 clear of Noah Osbaldeston. So looks like it will be the same podium as race 2. Quite surprisingly, it's very rare we actually see that happen. Osbaldeston is 1.7 clear of Jackson Carden. This has been so far the simplest race for this top 3. Meanwhile, Holloway looking at the back of James Ellis still for 6th position. We're about to start the final lap of the race. Through Murray's for the penultimate time then. And it was Holloway taking a bit of the curbing there. Has that compromised his run? Doesn't look like it has. Stanley Rolfe still leading that other group of cars, but Aaron Reeve with momentum down the start and finish straight. It's the battle for 11th position, but Stanley Rolfe will have the inside line when they get to Ritchie's, so should just be able to repel the advances of Aaron Reeve there. He does indeed. Oh, look at Daniel Perry on the inside there of Richie Holloway. So I'm sure Holloway was trying to make a move there on James Ellis and ended up losing a place here potentially. He goes around the outside of Palmer, and surely Holloway is going to get boxed in behind Ellis. This is, oh no, look at that. Perry into the back of Holloway. He did very well to gather the car up there, and Tortola's now in the fight there as well. And so James Ellis leads them. Oh, and Perry and Holloway make contact again, this time into Agostini, and Perry's pushed out wide. He loses the place to Tortola. He's now down into 9th position. So that's a change for 8th there, as Holloway's still trying to get this move done on James Ellis. Battle for 6th position, providing all the drama in this final lap of the race so far. Holloway taking it very cautiously on the entry into Oggies, but that pays off big time on the exit. But Ellis is putting his car in all the right places. And so make sure he gets a good run out of Williams and onto the Bentley straight. But Holloway is right there with him, as is Tortola. So 3 cars racing for 6th position going into the Brundle and Nelson complex for the first time. And there is Tortola. Look how close do you want it, as Ellis was right to the right-hand side of the picture, right to the left-hand side of the racetrack. Oh, contact there with Holloway on the inside, and so Ellis is forced off the road. He loses a place to Tuller. He loses a place to Daniel Perry as well, who picks up one of those places he lost just a few corners ago. Holloway now up into 6th position, but can Tortola do anything with that as they make their way around Coram for the final time? He's squeezing through on the inside. He has done so, and now Perry and Holloway make contact for the 3rd time, and Ellis down the inside. They bang doors. Meanwhile, Jake Hewlett has probably already won the race, and Trafford King in 2nd, but my goodness me, these guys putting on a great show for 6th position. And so in the end, it's going to be Tortola who takes 6th over the line. Great stuff. And it was Jake Hewlett for back-to-back victories. Trafford King and Noah Osbaldeston ahead of Jackson Carden, Alex Stockton, and then Tortola, James Ellis, Richie Holloway and Daniel Perry, Luca Monroe. I have a feeling that's probably going to change post-race, but that was a joy to watch on that final lap there. So, yeah, amazingly, the same podium that we had in race 2. So a 6th podium for Noah Osbaldeston and a 2nd victory for Jake Hewlett. So a remarkable performance once again. All 750 Motor Club races in the real world, the 2 Type R Trophy racers. Of course, Jake has moved on to other things since into pastures new, but a champion of the Type R Trophy in previous years. Noah Osbaldeston, the Sports 1000 racer, but ultimately Trafford King does extend his championship lead, which is great news for him, and could well be taking a 2nd championship victory in a few weeks' time. As we will try and hear from Jake Hewlett, who I believe can hear me now. Jake, that looks really boring for you, but probably what you wanted.
Yeah, a little bit of redemption after earlier's mistakes. Started getting into a bit of the rhythm there. So yeah, super pleased with that. Pity we didn't have the extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, still great performance from yourself. I was talking with Trafford about this. It seems like maybe all the Type R guys, they seem to really like this car. It's the first front-wheel drive car we've had all season.
Yeah, I'm actually really fond of the rear-wheel drive platform. I just happen to always be in front-wheel drive. So yeah, super keen to obviously get out in the MX-5. I believe there's still around in the MX-5, and forget what the other ones are, but yeah, super keen to sort of have a go in some of those as well. But yeah, this is it's a good fun car. It's obviously nice to be in something front-wheel drive. It's certainly familiar.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we know how quick you can be in that type of car, right? Now, I asked you this like every round last season, but I haven't had the opportunity to ask you yet. Do you know what you're going to be racing next year?
I'm going to do the same as I always do, if not even worse.
No,
we'll
really?
see. Stay tuned. Keep an eye on the socials.
All right, fair enough. Well, if anyone's looking for real world or sim coaching, where can they find you?
jakehewlettracing.co.uk or at jakehewlett92 on Instagram, or alternatively, if you found me in the Discord, pop me a DM. You know, the sky's the limit. I really appreciate that, Chris. And yeah, if anyone's looking for help, please do get in touch.
You'll be in very safe hands with Jake, as he has very amicably demonstrated over the course of tonight. So, Jake, congratulations once again. 2 great victories for yourself. Obviously, you weren't at the first meeting, so you joining us for the rest of the rounds?
Yeah, I had a conflict. I think I was at a real world event. I can't actually remember. It's been that busy, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I'll certainly be joining you guys. I don't think there's any clashes. So should certainly be joining you guys for the remainder of the season now.
That's excellent news. Well, enjoy the New Year's celebrations. We'll see you in 2026.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks to you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that jazz. Thanks to Gridfinder 750 Motor Club and yourself for putting on such a great event.
Oh, thank you for providing the entertainment.
Have a good evening, guys. Take care.
Thanks very much, Jake. And so it is back-to-back victories, and maybe on the drop scores, Jake can mount a late challenge for the championship. But that is all from us here tonight, and for 2025, of course. So on behalf of the 750 Motor Club, thank you very much for watching any of our streams, whether they've been from Gridfinder, from Alpha Live in the real world. Just thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in 2026.